Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Doing well.
Good.
All right. Well, we will get started. Let's see here. All right, here we go. For it, we, in, of, you, a, to, and the I. That is your, have, will, be, are not, as, at, this, with, but, on, if, all, so, me, was, very, my, bad, our, from, had, am, one, time, he, get, do, been, letter, can, would, she, when, wrote, hard, doing, far, list, cover, returned, during, lot, city, pretty, future, weather, need, came, forward, certainly, men, trust, above, thanking, pleasure, sorry, regard, written, years, past, stock, away, life, rather, material, paper, high, further, fine, really, desire, thicken, though, taken, suppose, new, seems, several, satisfactory, help, understand, bill, close, covering, room, gold, sister, opinion, train, law, low. All right, common phrases. Whether he remembers, whether he says, whether he shall, whether he should, whether he thinks, whether he understands, whether he wanted, whether he wants, whether he was, whether he will go, whether he would, whether I am, whether I believe, whether I believed, whether I can, whether I cannot, whether I could, whether I ever, whether I feel, whether I felt, whether I had, whether I have, whether I have been, whether I have had, whether I recall, whether I recalled, whether I recollect, whether I recollected, whether I remember, whether I remembered, whether I say, whether I shall, whether I should, whether I understand, whether I want, whether I wanted, whether I was, whether I will, whether I would, whether or not he believed, whether or not he believes, whether or not he can, whether or not he could, whether or not he feels, whether or not he felt, whether or not he had, whether or not he recalled, whether or not he recalls. All right. This is a while back we did the drill with from the, in the, on the, and this is going to be the of the, to the, for the drill. Here we go. Report to the house. Stop for the light. Back of the door. Man of the hour. Party for the kids. Call to the station. End of the war. Letter to the editor. Subject for the speech. Chair for the patio. Note to the principal. Leg of the chair. Reference to the bill. Gift for the child. Top of the heap. Advice to the patient. Home for the aged. Rear of the car. Office of the president. Petition to the court. Ticket for the event. View of the scene. Response to the ad. Date for the trial. Papers to the senator. Butt of the rifle. Tragedy for the family. Root of the problem. Hanging for the wall. Case to the jury. Piece of the rock. Party to the action. Passes for the concert. Will of the majority. Second to the motion. Money for the homeless. Reason for the crime. Visit to the doctor. Report of the investigation. Counsel for the defense. Nose to the grindstone. Treatment of the injury. Objection to the question. Witness for the state. Force of the collision. All right. Let's do some geographical names and addresses. Here we go. Benjamin H. Jones, Jones, 2292 Wilton Street, Omaha, Nebraska, 68131. Sandra R. Adams, ADAMS, 378 Princess Street, Orlando, Florida, 32803. Cynthia R. Hardy, HARDY, 723 Yakima Street, Tacoma, Washington, 98402. Gary L. Wright, WRIGHT, 921 Essex Avenue, Springfield, Massachusetts, 01104. Darcy I. Rhodes, RHODES, 457 Silver Creek Road, Bellevue, Ohio, 44003. Stephen G. Guthrie, GUTHREY, 1114 Herson Avenue, Santa Fe, New Mexico, 57324. Curtis J. Fox, FOX, 1524 Jane Street West, North Falls, Nevada, 69101. Timothy B. Hearns, HEARNS, 6.5 South Hamilton Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, 60636. Mark D. Kwan, QUAN, 1309 Clark Way, Independence, Missouri, 64050. Caitlin M. Mowers, MOWERS, 7898 Grand Avenue, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45227. Todd H. Hogan, HOGAN, 1886 Tioga Avenue, Erie, Pennsylvania, 16501. Sally C. Hinder, HINDER, 1800 4th Street, Salt Lake City, Utah, 84101. Christine A. Hamilton, HAMILTON, 1512 Bridgewater Lane, Scottsdale, Arizona, 85001. Lisa T. Lane, LANE, 211 West Ballard Street, Wilmington, Delaware, 19808. William S. Neese, NEESE, 211 Terrain Street, Birmingham, Alabama, 35201. All right. Got some briefs. If you have any questions about any of these, just let me know. And you have the choice, to write it out or use a brief if you have it. And if you're interested in any of them, let me know. Here we go. Proposition, proven, public sentiment, punishment, question of fact, question of law, railroad, rate of speed, reasonable, reasonable doubt, reasonable or unreasonable, reasonableness or unreasonableness, reasonably, rebuttal, receive, received, recollection, religion, remark, sexual assault, sole and exclusive judges, sole judges, speculate, standard, state of mind, statement, stipulate, stipulation, strength of memory, stricken, subject, substantial, substitute, summation, sustain, sympathy, take into account, take into consideration, taken, testify, testimony, the weight to be given, unanimous, under oath, under the influence, unlawful, unless, vehicle, verdict, victim. Victim is good. That's VIM. They have it two ways, either VIM or initial V, final M. Some of these, though, it's like, if they change one little word on it, it's going to throw it off. Like, what was one of them? The weight to be given. I mean, what about if they changed one little word, And that's TWOG. Yes.
Something similar to that, I was going to ask you about proximate cause. And then when they say, like, you didn't say it just now.
Okay.
Similar, like proximate cause. And then sometimes you'll say proximately caused
Yes.
and I don't have anything. I almost feel like if I just make it like past tense, maybe I can add the ly on the proximately, because they wouldn't say proximate caused.
Right.
But like they're already starting to say it. So it's like some of those it's just like, just write the words.
I know, exactly. And that's why I do cover these, because I feel like, well, if somebody has a question on it, they can ask. But if anything, it's good practice, because they are all words that they do say, But like,
Yeah.
here's an example: sole and exclusive judge, sole judge. And then they have an S on the end. So sole and exclusive judge is S long OJ. But if they say sole and exclusive judges, that's S long OJS. And then sole judge is just SOJ. But then if they say sole judges, then you just add the S, SOJS. But like you said, you kind of have to wait to see what they say before you can even write the brief. So I don't know. If anything,
That seems like it would be more useful, like maybe when you're out in the working world.
yes.
But like for a test situation, I'm like, nope, I'm just writing as soon as I hear it,
That's right. That's right. And like question of law, that's a good one, KWEFL. I use that.
Yeah, but
one.
I know, but then so what do you just add the S if they say questions of law? I mean, they could say that.
Yeah, they could. Questions of law. Yep. And then you would just have to add the S. Yeah. Kind of like question of fact is KWEFT. But if they say questions, well, I don't know if they would say questions of fact. Probably not. They would say more of questions of law. So you would have to add the S. So I know it's kind of.
But then you have to wait for, well, no, you just have to know that it's not, I don't know.
I know.
Never mind.
No, I know what you're saying. Because one little word, if you take off one of these, like one little word, it could change the whole thing. And you're like, oh, but some of them are good, like summation. I don't know if you do that, but it's SM long AGS, summation. It's like a squeeze, summation. That's a good one.
Oh, yeah.
So there is there are some good ones here, but some of them it's like, oh gosh, just write it out.
I must have had that at some point because it's in my dictionary, but like sometimes if you don't use them for a while, you forget.
Yes.
And you just write them out, but that's a good one.
Yeah. And then unanimous, they have either NAM or Y long UMS. Unanimous.
Oh, I do NAM.
NAM. Okay. That's good.
I do use that one.
Yep. Under the influence, UFLS. That's a good one.
I have that one, but I hate that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
My fingers like don't want to do it.
Yeah. Yep. And then verdict, I just do VERD, but they have it as VERKT or VURKT. And then here I write it VERD.
I do what you do. I do VERD.
So anyways. Yeah. Interesting. All right. So we'll go ahead and do some doublets. Okay. Here we go.
Before you mute me, I might hop off.
Okay.
Because my aunt just texted me and she said I can join a depot after lunch if I want to. So I might have to hop off here in a second.
Okay.
But
no worries.
So if I do, that's where I went.
Okay. That's no worries. Thanks for letting me know.
Okay.
Would have been like, oh, what happened? Where'd you go? All right. Here we go. Aerial surveys, ball bearings, camper coaches, dairy equipment, value system, aerosol sprays, bamboo products, carbon dioxide, diamond tools, civil engineer, rocket engines, air diffuser, fruit packing, costume rental, billiard table, airport access, plastic bottles, folding carton. Well, at least you'll be nice and warmed up. All right, so let's do some consonant compounds. They are in sentences. Okay. All right, here we go. The gluten flour has to look like glue to make gluten bread. Having glandular fever makes your eyes glassy and glossy. The globetrotters were in their glory as they glanced around. The globe glittered from the glazing coating. All the glory gleamed from the glossary glowered. Being a glittery glamis model makes me glad. I almost came unglued when I glanced up and saw the glucose. The gleeful children glanced through the glass. The day was gloomy, and he was a glutton for punishment. We glided across the glittering snow gleefully. We were glaring at the glowing, glittering blazes. She glanced at the glittering, glossy diamond. The glee club gladly sang songs of glory. As I glanced around, I saw gleaming glaciers. Gloria glides gracefully across the glittering ice. He would gladly stare at the glamorous model with the glasses. Glittering jewelry is often made of glass and glue. Glenn and Gloria glanced at gliders and gladiators. That glamorous girl had a glassy glare. Glowworms gleam and glisten when it's gloomy outside. All right. I'm going to give you just some more of these final MT words, and then we're going to move into literary. Okay, here we go. Arraignment, abandonment, arrangement, disentanglement, assignment, dishevelment, disinterment, disillusionment, dislodgement, astonishment, attainment, attachment, displacement, dismemberment, acknowledgement, disparagement, betterment, commencement, admeasurement, embarrassment, commandment, admonishment, commitment, embitterment, embroilment, contentment, embellishment, emplacement, repayment, denouncement, enchantment, encompassment, detrainment, endearment, encouragement, enfranchisement, disappointment, engrossment, investment, placement, pigment, prepayment, indictment, enrichment, judgment, enjoyment, enrollment, argument, abetment, annulment, apartment, amusement, element, comment, disbarment, preferment, basement, casement, postponement, resentment, statement, shipment, accruement, adjustment, dement, pavement, lament, sustainment, supplement, reclaimant, payment, foment, fulfillment, augment, argument, entrenchment. All right, let's go ahead and do some literary. Okay, I'm going to start at 120. I'll work my way to 160. Okay, here we go. Rose Smith walks past the barn stalls, housing goats, kids, some rabbits, a chicken or two, and yes, even a guinea fowl, to lean on the split rail fence surrounding the cow pen. The 20 or so 2-year-old heifers inside, born and raised on New England farms, will soon be flown to the dusty plains of Jordan. They are America's gift to some impoverished residents there, part of an ongoing program that has helped raise the living standards in this manner of the rural poor since the final years of World War II. Heifer Project International, the private development agency sponsoring the program, promotes self-sufficiency and independence by providing quality breeding stock, cows and goats for the most part, but also rabbits, chickens, and even bees to qualified individuals too poor to purchase stock of this caliber. But HPI faces an unusual challenge right now. The organization has an unparalleled opportunity to bless others, but an inability to take full advantage of the situation because of a shortage of funds. The opportunity results from the federal government's dairy herd buyout program aimed at reducing the oversupply of milk by cutting the number of dairy cows by 1.55 million during the next 3 years. Many farmers accepting the buyout offer would rather see their bred for milk animals go overseas than have them slaughtered and add to the oversupply of meat at home, thus eliminating one glut by creating another. These concerns have resulted in hundreds of offers of young cows or heifers pouring into the HPI headquarters in Arkansas and its 5 regional centers. But while HPI has all the stock it can currently handle, it is frustrated by a lack of funds to ship the animals to needy recipients. The cost of air freighting the animals can range from a low of $750 to a high of $3,000 each, depending on the distance involved. Those among the public who have heard of the situation have responded generously with the donations, but more is needed to take full advantage of the present opportunity. HPI, or simply heifer, as the largely volunteer staff calls it, works on the credo that to give a poor man a cup of milk today only means that he will be in want again tomorrow. But give the man a cow, and he has milk on a permanent basis, along with the self-respect and dignity that accompany his new sense of independence. Dan West, an Indiana farmer, founded HPI after his own experience distributing relief supplies to hungry families during the Spanish Civil War. He saw the futility of handouts because the food would run out long before the lines of hungry people. But West attached one condition to all HPI aid, which puts it above the forms of charity. The condition is this: each recipient must give the first female offspring of his cow or goat to someone else who does the same thing in turn. The effect is a self-perpetuating gift that over the years can have a marked effect on the living standards of a region. For example, a goat gives 2 to 4 quarts of milk a day and has kids twice a year, so results are quick in coming. The first shipload of heifers went to Puerto Rico back in 1944. Since then, thousands of all types of farm animals have been shipped to 107 countries and to 33 states within the United States. Included in the original gift is training from the heifer representative in the care and feeding of the animal. Also, all would-be recipients are evaluated for their ability and willingness to undertake their new farming opportunity. No animal is simply dumped on a needy family and left. Animals used in the HPI programs are bought or come as tax-deductible gifts from farmers, and more than 80% of all donations go directly to people in need, making Heifer Project International one of the most efficient and effective charitable organizations in the world. A major reason for this efficiency is the dedication of the workers that make up a relatively small staff and vast numbers of volunteers. Many of these volunteers are agricultural students who choose to give of their time and to also gain through practical experience in stock management. HPI combats world hunger one family at a time. The same way a mason builds a wall, one brick at a time until the wall is complete. Each success on its own has a negligible effect on the worldwide hunger program, but one success becomes 10, and 10 becomes 100, and then 1,000, and the impact on a whole region becomes very noticeable. All right. I work my way to 160. All right, let's go ahead and jump into some jury charge. And the subject here is conspiracy. And I'm going to start this at 120, but I'm going to work my way to 160. Okay, here we go. The second count in the indictment is that of conspiracy and is based on this portion of our statutory law, Section 15-11-410. The crime known to the common law as conspiracy is hereby defined as a combination between two or more persons for the purpose of accomplishing a criminal or unlawful object, or an object neither criminal nor unlawful by criminal or unlawful means. The crime of conspiracy is hereby declared to be a misdemeanor, and any person found guilty of the crime of conspiracy shall be sentenced to pay a fine of not more than $15,000 or to be imprisoned for not more than 5 years, provided that in no event shall a person who is convicted of the crime of conspiracy be given any greater fine or sentence than he would have received had he carried out the criminal or unlawful act contemplated by the conspiracy, and had he been convicted of the criminal or unlawful act contemplated by the conspiracy, or had he been convicted of the criminal or unlawful acts by which the conspiracy was to be carried out or effected. Mr. Foreman, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, that is the law on which the indictments in this case are based. Now, with regard to the conspiracy charge, I charge you as follows. The word conspire is defined substantially as follows. If two or more persons agree, acting upon a common purpose, to commit a criminal act, they conspire. A conspiracy is a combination between two or more persons to do an unlawful act or to do a lawful act by criminal or unlawful means. There can be no conspiracy when one individual acts by and for himself only. In order to become a party to a conspiracy, a person must combine with some other person or someone else to effect the object of the conspiracy by means agreed upon. A mere mental purpose cannot justify a conviction of conspiracy. A common design is of the essence of the charge. Now, in order to establish conspiracy, it is necessary first that the conspiracy or agreement to commit the offense alleged in the indictment be established, and second, to prove further that one or more of the parties engaging in the conspiracy have committed some act to effect its object. If the conspiracy is established, Proof of the doing of one overt act charged is necessary and sufficient to warrant a verdict of guilty. Now, to constitute conspiracy, it is not necessary that two or more persons should meet and enter into and express a formal agreement for the doing of the unlawful act, or that they would direct it by words or in writing, state between themselves or otherwise what the unlawful object is to be, or the details thereof, or the means by which the unlawful combination is to be made effective. It is sufficient that two or more persons in any manner or through any contrivance, positively or tactically, come to a mutual understanding to accomplish a common or unlawful design. In other words, when an unlawful end is sought to be effected and two or more persons actuated by the common person of or purpose of accomplishing that end work together in any way to further the unlawful scheme, each of such persons becomes a member of the conspiracy. The success or failure of the conspiracy is immaterial, but before any person can be found guilty of the charge, it must appear beyond a reasonable doubt that a conspiracy was formed as alleged in the indictment and that the particular person was an active party to it. And under the charges here made, the conspiracy constitutes the offense. It must be made to appear from the evidence beyond a reasonable doubt before a defendant can be convicted that he was a party to the conspiracy and unlawful agreement charged, that he continued to be such up to the time that one overt act was committed. The mere fact that the defendant named may have engaged in the performance of any of the acts charged in the indictment as overt acts would not authorize a conviction by reason of that act alone. It is necessary to show that such defendant was party to the conspiracy and the unlawful agreement before his guilt of the offense was charged is made out. Each party to a conspiracy must be actuated by an intent to promote the common design. If persons pursue by their acts the same unlawful object, one performing one act and another act, with all a view to the attainment of the object that they are pursuing, the conclusion is warranted that they are engaged in a conspiracy to effect that object. Cooperation in some form must be shown. There must be intentional participation in the transaction with a view and purpose to further the common design. If a person understanding the unlawful character of the transaction encourages, advises, or in any manner with the purpose to forward the enterprise or scheme, assist in its prosecution, he becomes a conspirator. Joint assent and joint participation in the conspiracy may be found, like any other fact, as an inference from facts proven. When a conspiracy is in operation, a person joining in at any time thereafter assumes responsibility for all that was previously done by any party thereto, provided only that the new party had acknowledged of the facts that such conspiracy is in operation and he joins it knowingly. The evidence and proof of the conspiracy may be circumstantial. In this, or if this is the case, it is not only necessary that all these circumstances concur to show the existence of the conspiracy, but such circumstantial evidence must be consistent with any other reasonable or rational concern. Now, the term overt acts, as used in these instructions, is meant an act committed by one or more of the conspirators. If the evidence shows there, in fact, was a conspiracy which was intended to and had a tendency to follow the purpose of the conspiracy, such acts may be in agreement between two or more of the conspirators, or it may be an act performed by any of the conspirators. All right. Now I'm going to do a Q&A. We're going to start Q&A, but this is going to be one of those Q&As that jump from question to question and answer to answer. Okay, so you have to just write what you hear, and you can't really anticipate what the next question is going to be. And I'm going to start this at 120, and I will work my way to 140 with this one, okay? Just because it's a little bit more challenging because it's jumping all over the place. All right, here we go. It's strictly Q&A. How many hours a day do you watch TV? About 2 hours. What's your favorite sport? Swimming. What did you eat last night? Spaghetti. When did you go to that restaurant? Last night. What kind of work do you do? I'm a piano teacher. How do you like your steak? Always rare. Can you pay by card? No, they only take hard cash. What time do you get up in the morning? At 7 o'clock. What kind of novels do you like? I like spy novels. Do you still feel homesick? Well, I'm getting over it a little. What did you do yesterday? I swam. Where are you from? New York. How many hours a day do you sleep? I sleep 7 hours. What does TV mean? Television. How long does it take you to get to class? It takes 15 minutes. How do you get to school? By train. How often do you send emails? 2 times a week. Did you go to the theater last night? Sorry, I had a business meeting that night. When did you mail that letter? After school. How often do you play tennis? Almost every day. When is your birthday? November 2nd. Where do you usually eat lunch? In the cafeteria. All right. Now let's move into some Q&A that we've been working on. And I will start this at 120 and work my way to 160. This is a deposition and defense is questioning. This is the dog bite transcript. Okay, here we go. Was there anything else like jump rope or hopscotch? No. What other? I'll refrain from any. Let's go off the record. Back on the record. You said that after the dog bite, you had some bad dreams. Uh-huh. Is that a yes? Yes. Do you remember any of those dreams? No. Were they all involving a dog? Yes. Did you have any other bad dreams that didn't involve dogs? No. And before the dog bite happened, did you have any? No. Before the dog bite happened, did you have any bad dreams? No. So this was like the first time you had bad dreams? Yes. What would you do when you'd have those bad dreams? I don't know. I can't remember. Would you wake up? Yeah. Would you get out of bed and go to your mom? No, I'd get out of bed and I would just walk around. Can you remember what you saw in the dream? Or no, something bad? Yes. You'd walk around where? In your room? Yeah. Were your dogs ever in your room? No. Where did you normally keep your dogs? Outside in the yard. Did they ever go inside the house? No. Did they ever tell your mom about those dreams? No, yeah. On the night they happened or like the next day. So you never went to her when you had a bad dream? Uh-uh. I'm sorry. Is that a no? Yeah. Yes, that's a no? Yes. I'll ask the question again. Did you ever go to your mom at night when you had bad dreams? No. How about your stepdad? No. Did you ever wake up your brothers? No. You said you would walk around? Yeah, yes. What would you do after you walked around? Go back to bed? Did you have any trouble falling back to sleep? No. So how long would you be awake after those bad dreams? About 15 minutes. Do you remember how many you had? No. Can you give us an estimate if it was like 5 or 20? About 10. When was the first one? That the next night. Do you remember when the last one was? No, I can't remember. I don't know. Was it within that same month? Yes. You said you talked to your mom about those bad dreams? Yes. Did you talk to anybody else? No. How about your stepdad? No. Did your mom ever take you to talk to anybody about your bad dreams? No. Do you have a scar on your leg? Yes. From the dog bite? Do you know how big the scar is? No. And that's on the back of your leg? Yes. Well, it's right here. It goes across right here. If you want to, I can see. As you know, there's a plastic surgeon that's going to examine him for all three of you tomorrow. So he'll probably do photographs and measurements and everything for you. Dr. Zaid is very thorough. Thank you. Do you have 2 separate scars? Yes. Do you have any other scars? No, but I have dots back there. What are those dots from? From the dog. His teeth went through the skin over here. So the 3 dots you're showing on the inside of your right leg, let's see, the outside of the right leg. Those are where the teeth went into your leg. The teeth didn't go in all the way right there. Okay, but he had his teeth on you right there? Yes. Okay, did he break the skin right there? Yes. Okay, and those right there, were those bruises? I can't quite see from here. Are they black and blue or kind of a scarred area? Well, they are purple and blue. They are scarred now. Then that's the scars from on the other side of the leg from the dog's mouth. So that's where he went into your skin? Yes. Do you know how many doctors you've seen? No. You have a family doctor? Yes. And how many times did you go to that doctor? I don't know. Did you ever go to a doctor in Texas? Yeah, no, not for the leg. Not for my leg, but for my asthma I have. Did he look at your leg at all? Yes. The doctor in Texas? Yes. Do you remember his name? No. Did he say anything regarding your leg? No. Did you mention that you were having problems with your leg? No. Have you told anybody that you still have pain in your leg? Yes. How about your mom? Have you told her? Yes. Have you gone to the doctor for that? No. When does your leg bother you the most? Whenever I start to run. And it's just the right leg? Yes. Any particular area? No. The pain, is it towards the bottom of the leg or where the scars are? When you're playing baseball, do you run? No. No? Okay. That is a no, you don't run? Yeah, no. You bat when you play baseball, right? Yes. Do you run to the bases? No, someone else runs most of the time. When you're running to the bases, do you have any pain? Oh, yes. When you start back with the all-star team, were you having this pain in your leg? Yes, a little, yes. Is the pain greater now than before? Yes, because the skin is really tight. So it hurts more now than it did when you were playing on the all-star team? Yes. And that's the time when you were playing after the dog bite? Uh-huh, yes. You said you went back to the hospital for your leg, correct? Yes. And you had some type of infection? Yes. Do you remember what they did for that? No. Has your leg pain gotten worse since the time of the infection than before? Yes. Okay. When did you first notice the pain getting worse? I don't know. Was it during that summer? No, it was about a month after I started school. So sometime in October. Yeah. When you went back to school at Mead Valley, were you ever teased about your leg? No. Did the kids ever ask what happened? Yes. What did you tell them? That I got bit by a dog. Would you say anything else? No. Would they say anything else? No. Back to that summer when you were playing baseball after the dog bite happened, you started playing baseball again? Yes. And how soon after? About, I don't know. Do you remember if it was a couple of weeks, a month? I don't know. I think it was like a couple weeks. Were you able to do all the things you have to do for baseball? Yes, except run. So you were able to, if you had to, slide into bases? Oh, no. You were able to, you couldn't do that? No. Did you slide in with your right leg ever? No. You would slide. Could you slide with your left leg? No. Okay, and that has changed from before the dog bite? Yes. Okay. And at that time, did you have your stitches already taken out? Yes. Anybody ever tell you not to play baseball? No. Are we getting close to the break lunch hour? I think everyone is getting hungry. Probably. Okay. Just you can ask a few more questions and then we can take our break. Okay, when an attorney says a few questions, that's a very bad word. Are you ready? Okay, let's just do a few more questions and then take a break. Okay, I'm going to show you some photographs. Are we on Exhibit G? Yes, G. Can we go off the record for a moment? Back on the record. I'm going to show you some photographs. I should number them. I'm going to show you 7 photographs. They're going to be exhibits G through M, I think. Okay, what is the question going to be? So, okay, here we go. Now, pretty much the same questions. Whether you recognize the dogs and if you can point out which dog was the one that bit you. She's going to show you these photographs to see if they look like the dogs on the day of the accident. I'll let you look through them first, and if you could, if you recognize any of the dogs, just let us know. This one. Okay, so you recognize this photo, which is Exhibit L? Yeah. Okay, and is this the dog that bit you? Yes. This is L and this is M. Do you recognize the dog in photograph M? Yes, I do. What dog is that? Well, what she means is that the dog that bit you? Yes. Is there something on L that you recognize and you know that it's the dog that bit you? Yes. Okay, what is it about this photo of the dog that you recognize? The tail. And what about the tail? It's white. What about an M? Is that the same tail that you recognize? No. Is that in M? Does that tail look white? What color does that look like? Brown and white. Is there anything else about Exhibit L, the photo of this dog, that you recognize? No. What about, he recognizes the dog as a whole. Is there anything else about the dog that's distinctive or different to you that causes you to know that that's the dog that bit you? I don't know. okay, as opposed to any of the other dogs depicted in those photographs or shown in the other photographs? I don't know. Before, you were describing the dog that bit you as a light brown dog with dark brown spots. Yes. Is that something you recognize in this photo, Exhibit L? Yeah. He's referring to L and M. Well, I don't know which ones he's referring to. Are you referring to just this photograph or both photographs? Both. All right, so let's switch transcripts for a minute. All right, this is going to be a little bit more challenging. And this is defense is questioning. I'm going to continue right with 160, okay? What does that signify to you? That's just another code that we have within our code book, and the person noting to code G4, parentheses, and pick up the following. And the language shown? Yes, right. Do you know what appears at G4? Not verbatim, but I have an idea. Okay, can you tell from looking at your packet? Yes. Don't read it, just tell me about what it consists of. It's just a statement that the property hasn't been conveyed within 6 months. All right, thank you. I would like to continue down in that column. Is the word not stricken out? Yes. And the word okay circled? Yes. What does that mean? Okay, for starter. Something that can be used at a later date as a starter for the property. Is any of the writing on this document in your handwriting? Only my signed signature. What is in the block where the word accept appears in the second column? Under accept, next to accept. C-O-B-S. Okay, S-E-E? Yes. What does that mean? It's just another form to be put in our preliminary title report. The information is located on page 5 of the packet. Of the packet, yes. All right, now title officer and your name appears. That's your signature, correct? Yes. At what point in time do you normally sign a brief? After my review. Does your signature have any significance? Is it an approval or does it just signify you have seen it? It's just an approval. Then it says produced by and someone's initials, possibly. Then it appears to be a date of 12/17/10. Yes. And with a 2 with a circle around it. Is that correct? Yes. What does the 2 with the circle around it signify? I don't know. What does the date signify? Well, that date shows when the report was made out. Then the word compared Reynolds 12/18. What does that signify to you? Well, the person that makes the report, compares the report, and makes out, shows it against a written brief for any discrepancies, and that's the person that compared it. And presumably the date that it was compared? Yes. Okay, compared to, do you know Reynolds? Yes. Is that a he or a she? It's a she. What is her first name? I'm not sure. Is she still employed at First American? I don't think so. Let's go up to the third column. I'm going to excuse myself, and Monday is off, right? That's correct. Okay, thank you, and I don't need a copy. Let's go off the record, back on the record. Standard policy, write 2 copies. What does that mean? There's a binder over it, isn't it, Terry? Yes, it has the word binder over it. Does binder connect to the standard policy reference? No. So let's just take standard policy indication first. What does that mean? If a request was made for a standard policy, that would be the column we would use for that. Okay, Am I correct that the information that appears in block right now below the word binder was written at some other time than the time of the information that we have been discussing? Yes. Okay. Was that information placed there by you? Yes. So that is in your handwriting also? Yes. Did you write the word binder? Yes. With a circle around it signifies what? Well, our person that prepared that circled that. Do you have any recollection of dealing with the brief a second time for the purpose of issuing a policy of title? Yes. What do you recall about having your dealt with it the second time? Just that a request was made. Does this then constitute your instruction to the person who handles this type of policy preparing 2 copies? No. What does it mean? That a binder would be written up. Okay, 2 copies, correct? Yes. All right, then you wrote the word binder. Is that correct? To direct them to do a binder as opposed to anything else. Is that correct? Yes. All right, so let's do some read back. It's all about title reports in that one. Okay, so the first time I'm going to read it at 160, then again at 140, and the last time at 120. You're going to hear grapevine, restaurant, escrow, which is S-K-R long O, real estate, neighbors, attorney, Mr. Gardner, property, driveway. That's about it. All right. So first time at 160. Here we go. And it's defense questioning. Approximately how long did the conversation last that occurred where you were discussing maybe renting his property? I would say about 5 minutes or so. It was just in the driveway and out. That's all there was to it. Did you hear by way of the grapevine that his property might be for sale or lease? Yes, you can ask any of the neighbors right on down the street about the place. Well, is there any sort of sign up that says it is for rent or anything like that? No. Did a particular person say Mr. Gardner was interested in renting his property or selling it or something? No. You hear of a place for rent and everybody goes and looks at it, you know, to see if it's something better than they have now. I am just trying to figure out from whom you heard it. Oh, I don't know. Did you meet somebody in a restaurant? Or did a real estate broker tell you? Or did you see it online? No, it wasn't a real estate broker. There was no sign up on the property? No. Did a real estate broker help you in finding the place that you have now? No, sir, I found my own. Did you handle your own escrow for that place? Sure did. You say you did handle your own escrow? Yes, I did. All right, so let's do that again at 140. Here we go. Approximately how long did the conversation last that occurred where you were discussing maybe renting his property? I would say about 5 minutes or so. It was just in the driveway and out. That's all there was to it. Did you hear by way of the grapevine that his property might be for sale or lease? Yes, you can ask any of the neighbors right on down the street about the place. Well, is there any sort of sign up that says it is for rent or anything like that? No. Did a particular person say Mr. Gardner was interested in renting his property or selling it or something? No, you hear of a place for rent and everybody goes and looks at it, you know, to see if it's something better than they have now. I am just trying to figure out from whom you heard it. Oh, I don't know. Did you meet somebody in a restaurant, or did a real estate broker tell you, or did you see it online? No, it wasn't a real estate broker. There was no sign up on the property. No. Did a real estate broker help you in finding the place that you have now? No, sir. I found my own. Did you handle your own escrow for that place? Sure did. You say you did handle your own escrow? Yes, I did. All right, let's do it one last time at 1:20. Here we go. Approximately how long did the conversation last that occurred where you were discussing maybe renting his property? I would say about 5 minutes or so. It was just in the driveway and out. That's all there was to it. Did you hear by way of the grapevine that his property might be for sale or lease? Yes, you can ask any of the neighbors right on down the street about the place. Well, is there any sort of sign up that says it is for rent or anything like that? No. Did a particular person say Mr. Gardner was interested in renting his property or selling it or something? No. You hear of a place for rent and everybody goes and looks at it, you know, to see if it's something better than they have now. I am just trying to figure out from whom you heard it. Oh, I don't know. Did you meet somebody in a restaurant, or did a real estate broker tell you, or did you see it online? No, it wasn't a real estate broker. There was no sign up on the property? No. Did a real estate broker help you in finding the place that you have now? No, sir. I found my own. Did you handle your own escrow for that place? Sure did. You say you did handle your own escrow? Yes, I did. Okay, well, since we don't have any students in the live class, there's no need for me to go back and reread it again. So what I want you to do is pick a selection, either the 120, 140, or 160, and go back and listen to the recording again on this part and compare it to your notes and see how you do. Okay, so that concludes our Mid Speeds live class. Have a wonderful day.